Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this week's meeting of the Hamilton Rotary Club. Good to have all of you with us today.
Jody Gunderson is our speaker today, and he said, "Why is everybody wearing a coat and tie?" I said, "It's in honor of you." But anyway, Jody Gunderson is the Economic Development Director for the City of Hamilton. He's been in the business for 25 years, and he and his family came to Hamilton 8 years ago, and Jody and his wife and son live in the Rossville Historic District. So at this time, I'm happy to introduce Jody Gunderson.
Thank you, Phil. What I was going to cover initially was that Hamilton's economic development success. And I think it's, for those that have observed what's been going on in the city over the last several years, what I think that you can legitimately say is that we are definitely rebounding, we're definitely doing much better, but this is how I kind of define why we are doing what we're doing is really through our elected leadership and our city staff with a well-defined plan. The one thing I'd say about a well-defined plan is it will be defined. But as you progress through it, you will find that you're going to need to pivot because either you're not getting the result that you need to get, or you're going to pivot because something else becomes more important to whatever the long-term goal is. So that's probably the one thing that I'd say that really evolves as you go through it. But if you look through the vision and the strategy and commitment, that sort of thing is very important to the city. Dedication of resources to ensure that we can carry out our tasks, but measurements, that is the big deal for the city. To be able to point to some very specific numbers and say, these are the things that we wanted to achieve, and these are the things that we have achieved. If we've gotten closer, that's great. If we need to do something more to reach it, then how are we going to do it? You know, what resources need to be devoted to make that happen? I look at Team Hamilton. I call it Team Hamilton because I'm the lucky guy. I think I get to be the guy that is quoted in the paper, and they'll run stuff about me in the paper. And the reality is I have a lot of people that I'm working with on a regular basis, and I look at our city departments as key in that, and each one of them is doing certain things that it distinguishes the city. And I think and I say that from even the Parks and Conservancy, it's some of the stuff that you'll hear out there, all of a sudden I'm meeting with people that are in the development community, and they're saying, boy, we've been reading a lot about your city and your parks, and I'm thinking, I never dreamt that people would be saying, hey, we're reading a lot about you, and you guys are getting some really good positive buzz. And that's everybody doing their job and contributing to economic development in a lot of different ways. Other organizations, man, we work with anyone and everyone that is wanting to advance our cause. One thing I wanted to point out is the CIC, which is Community Improvement Corporation, and the Hamilton Community Authority. Those are organizations that in recent years have really been asked to step up to the plate and do some things that we've not asked of commissions or boards before. In which case, they're doing a lot of education themselves on some of the things that they've not had. We're bringing to the table the experience that they have, and we're asking them to do a lot of stuff. So I see Dan and I see Joe Ballou back there, and I see Jason Crank. Guys, thank you very much, because what you guys are doing is giving a lot of time and committing a lot to the growth that we see happening in our city. You take a look at where we're at. Those numbers are pretty good. I gotta admit, when I first came here in 2012, numbers weren't so great as it relates to The unemployment rate, our numbers for budget-wise wasn't too good. I remember Joshua sitting us all down at a table and talking to us about, hey, if things don't change in, I think it was 2015, we probably aren't going to have enough money to make payroll in our first quarter. And I'm thinking, great, I'll have a job for a couple of years. It's like it wasn't as if it was going to be something that was going to be solved overnight. Surround yourself with very smart, very talented people, and everyone was like moving in the same direction. We have had some great success, and we're actually seeing numbers that we're trending past 2018 numbers considerably. So very, very happy about the way things are going. And again, you can see what happens based upon people you surround yourself with. I point out this infographic here because it is pretty neat number. I know that the 2,526 new jobs filled, and I put that underscore filled, because we have jobs that are open out there. We can't find people to fill them. So that has become another part of what our economic development emphasis is to ensure that we find that next group of people that will be hired and work within our industries as they become industries that are requiring more skill. Take a look at the small businesses, 68 since 2012, 14 new businesses, small businesses this year, 2019, and 13 new small businesses expected in 2020. 1.3 million square feet of redeveloped and urban core since 2013. That's phenomenal. I mean, even when I came here in 2012, going down High Street, it looked like a ghost town. It was just really a very different place. Again, I'm lucky I got hired at a time when a lot of this stuff had already been set in motion, and I got to be a part of something very, very special, something that people take note of. We've had groups come in from other parts of the state of Ohio that come up and take a look at what Hamilton's doing, and it's like, wow, that's pretty neat. We're kind of like, we are an example of what's happening in some of these medium-sized legacy cities. We're the polar opposite of what's been happening in a lot of them. We kind of are the anomaly where we're doing extremely well, and it's great being the people that they point out to say, hey, go take a look at what these guys are doing. One of the companies I did want to point out right off the bat was Hamilton Casters. It's a company that's been here for over 100 years. I mean, they've been in business for over 111, 112 years. What's exciting about this is a company that has went through ebbs and flows and different cycles throughout the decades now is poised to move into the construction phase of their new facility that will be located right next to their facility on Dixie Highway. And this is really an impressive thing. Again, to be able to keep a company in your community that long, and the commitment of that company to continue to grow in your community is the reason why I take great pride in, again, being able to be there while this project is being developed. Another project that we're working on, and I think you'll see a relatively a common theme throughout this, is we've got a number of companies that have been here for a while. You know that, or at least in economic development, you look at a situation and you know that you're doing pretty good as a community when your companies want to expand, because believe me, there is a tremendous amount of competition for your businesses. And when they're looking to expand, they can expand anywhere, and people would love to have them. we are very fortunate to see that our businesses are expanding here, and I like to think it's because people like yourselves out in the audience and some of the city services that they do get are police, fire, and electric. I like to think that it's because of what they're doing that really encourages these companies to expand in the city. They're doing their expansion out there in right off the bypass 4, but they're going to be, I mean, their expansion is an $8.5 million expansion. What they're doing is expanding with office and showroom space. What I like also about Salvagnini is that they are a great ambassador for the city and in the region here. We have had a number of delegations come from Italy that go out this way and are looking for potential opportunities to locate their business. Salvagnini has been a great company to host them and talk with them about what it's like doing business in the United States and more specifically within this region. Another business that I call it a new business. They've been around for a while because they've been in the city building for a while. But Dharana Hybrid is a new company, and what they have done is, first and foremost, they work in the mechanical contracting industry. So these lines that you see done at Amazon and FedExpress and all of these things where these warehouses are going, this company here designs and builds these types of systems. This area right down in here is an example of a bottling plant, and actually the kegs that are being filled within there. That's the type of stuff they design it, and then they implement the installation of it. They're going to be creating 100 new jobs. What I also like about this is it's an Native American business, minority business enterprise, and the one thing that they've been very good about is trying to hire people that need that second and maybe even third chance. And they've been very good about that, and very proud that they have as well, because it's certainly not an easy thing. You take on a little bit more risk, but they are definitely a company that is working hard. What you see right up here is the old building at 903 Bell Avenue. If you can look right here in this picture, I apologize the quality of it, but these really aren't skylights. These are holes in the roof. And what they've had to do is go in and put an entire new roof on this thing. And you can see from the pictures right up in here, and if you go out by it, you can see they're doing a lot of property acquisition and cleanup in and around the property. And when they're done, we are going to be extremely proud of what they have done and how they've went about doing it. I'm already very excited about what they've done. They've really acquired a lot of blight within that area and demoed it at their own expense. JWF is a new company they built down in the Hamilton Enterprise Park. They work a lot within the medical industry, but they are what they are is they solve problems. Is what they indicated. They do a lot of stuff in automation. But 40 new employees, nice payroll to go along with it. Their first phase of their project is 55,000 square feet. They've acquired enough property to allow them to double that, and given the way that Dom talks about the company and the way that we have worked with them during this process, I fully expect them to be doing that in a short period of time. They are really a solid company. You've heard a lot about this one, I'm sure, 80 acres. I know that this one probably takes a little bit more explanation because they are in 3 different places in the city of Hamilton. They are in downtown Hamilton on I think it's 2nd or 3rd Street. In Hamilton, the old Miami car company. And then they are also out in our industrial park on 15 acres, and they're planning, well, they're in the process of building another one of their buildings out there. But when done there, they will have about 200 and some thousand square feet under roof out there. The one thing that, as you can see, I mean, the new positions, payroll, very impressive. Capital cost, $29 million. The one thing that recently happened was they entered into an agreement with Infinite Acres in Preva and Akata to create this, what will be the first fully automated hydroponic vertical greenhouse. And I got a chance to see a little bit of this in one of their buildings out in Hamilton Enterprise Park when they had their board in from, they have a number of their board members are in from the East Coast and in the West Coast for that matter. But they are funded very heavily by a venture capital fund. But this was, and I will give Joshua Smith, our city manager, the greatest of credit for this, because he was so dogged about trying to get all of the benefit that we can get with 80 acres. That's why you will find on our 7th floor of our city building, these guys will be moving into administration space. We will compress where we're at within the building, and 80 acres and Infinite Acres will be taking the entire 7th floor of the building. Say, you know, if you're going to be an automated system, how is it that you are going to have so many workers? It's going to be 125. Well, you're going to have a lot of professional people within that. It gives you an idea of the payroll. I think they are very cautious about not overstating what their payroll will be, but the impact of what that industry will have is going to be phenomenal. I think what you'll see more than anything is really a clear diversification within our local economy. We no longer are just steel benders or paper plants. We have a lot of people with a lot of skills, all of which are good skills for the future, and companies like this are helping us achieve that. We had North Point come to us. They're working with ThyssenKrupp-Bilstein. They ended up building a 285,000 square foot industrial space next to ThyssenKrupp, and if you look just down in this area here, they actually have a tunnel that goes from ThyssenKrupp-Bilstein space over to this on the adjoining property. Now there's about 125,000 square feet that we thought, this is great. We finally have some spec space in the city, because there is literally no buildings that are empty in this city. Even ones that had gaping holes in the roof are now being taken over and redeveloped. These guys came in. We thought we had 125,000. I talked to them when they got their occupancy permit. He said, no, we've already got the other 125,000 square feet leased out. I'm thinking, okay, that's great. I'm not going to get my spec space. Then I thought, well, Prologis, they're just finishing up 156,000 square feet right on Enterprise Drive, right across from Influx. And, you know, it's 156,000 square feet. I will say, though, that really they've only had their occupancy permit over the last, couple of months. And my guess is before the end of the year, we'll have that space filled as well. We've had a number of site visits. And the hardest thing that you can achieve in economic development is not necessarily landing a company. That's the ultimate goal. Getting those site visits, and that's the most difficult, because what you end up doing is start with a group of people and you're weeded down, and they come down to the last 6 places that they're going to consider. We've had a number of site visits in the last year, and that's why I kind of feel like before the end of the year you're going to hear about some additional jobs, additional companies that locate to Hamilton. I'm feeling pretty good and pretty confident about that. All in all, I'm extremely excited about working for the city of Hamilton, and I thank you for attending today. Are you going to take any questions?
Are you able to stick around, Jody?
Yeah, only if I can have Tom ask the first question.
Oh, I didn't know we had questions planted, but sure.
Okay, Tom, first question. The one I gave you, remember?
All right, well, thank you. Let me give you this gift from us.
Oh, thank you very much.
And if you would stick around just so we can kind of do our photo, and then if people want to touch base with you, that would be
Sure.
great.
Great, thank you.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
going to throw a couple things, just Jody didn't share, but 80 acres, when they are up and operational in both their facilities, or if you will, their hydro plant facilities, they'll be the single largest user of our utility in the city of Hamilton. It'll surpass the other major businesses that are here, that have been here for years. We also, Jody didn't talk about Spooky Nook and what that development will be for those businesses that Jody cited. The new businesses that are coming to town that look at the Nook as being an opportunity for them to plant themselves here in Hamilton. Those people that are talking to Jody now, and he and I had a conversation last night just prior to city council, that things are in the queue. These things that have happened on purpose have been designed for the past 8 years, 6 years, 4 years, 2 years, that he could share with you today. So it's one of those, stay tuned for further announcements that, again, small businesses that Jody cited are up there, but those are probably to happen within the next 6 months. And those job opportunities that are $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 that he cited up there, as well as some of those plants, when Jody talked about the folks that are developing over on Bell Avenue that are job ready. And those employers have said to us, we need a skilled workforce. We need to have developmental people that are ready to stand in and take those jobs that we have available. And whether it's Barclays or StarTech or those people that have been here now for a few years, talk to us about having people that are job ready, vocational schools and the like of what we're supporting. So it's incredible to think of where we were, where we're going, or where we are today, and then where we're going. Thank you. Jody, good job. Thanks.
Thank you.